Hi everyone, this is Jen. So coming back into this video I did yesterday, the feeling connected, feeling alive, the driving force, primal order video. So let's talk about this primal order. What I also wanted to share about was, I talked about this truth giver, this origin point field merge, and this truth seeker. Right? Getting this, but to share this giver, like you're a holder. Really, you are a truth holder. First, right? You could say, then you hold it, right? You hold it, and so that who seeks the truth, the one who seeks the truth, will find the holder of that, the container, right? The container. Holder, truth holder, container, truth giver, right? This but you like hold this, the sacred feminine, right? You hold the sacred feminine, which is being sought by another. A match, right? For anything that you're holding. And that's where we are at this time. So it's really about that, right? What you hold within your energy field. It is coming into this primal order. And then I get the words first order, but, because we need order. You need order, and you need flow, and you need coherence. Almost like this first things first, right? First things first. Let's reconnect to this primal order. Primal order. I don't know where I want to go from here, but I did want to provide a little bit of clarity on that, because then I had received after the giver, right? Giver, seeker. Because it's really that it is holder, right? Seeker, that then creates the fusion, the energy which propels that outward expression. That outward unified, harmonious, right, expression. Like completed. This completion of this like harmony, coming into this harmony space, this harmonious space of being. within all things. Being within all things. Being within the body. This primal container. Well, really this container that holds the primal order. Excuse me. The first order of things. What comes first? First things first. Let's establish some harmony here. Coming into this space of stillness. Before we move forward, it's what comes first. What comes first? So, but until, right, something is being sought, it will not come into this order. Something has to be desired. Something has to be put out there. Right? That's the idea of putting something out to the universe. Making a declaration. Holding true to yourself, holding true to your word, holding true to who you are as an individual. Creating that structure within your beingness. This is source order. We are created in source image. We are created through divine intelligence. We are created as, you look at our bodies and what they are capable of. How divine we are. When you look at how we have survived as a species, we must have a purpose here. And I feel that it is, that next step in human evolution, let's say, to align to that purpose, really. When we seek religion, when we seek spiritual practice, when we seek community, when we seek anything, it is the desire to find purpose. And what is happening now is this desire to find purpose, right? It's just like anything. It can be manipulated. It can be, used, hijacked. It's not hard to listen to another's truth rather than seeking your own. Because we all hold purpose, but it is about finding, it is about creating, it is about coming into your purpose. It is about evolving into your purpose. It is not it doesn't come from anything external to you. It is something that you evolve into. It's funny, what I think of is like Pokemon, right? My son loves his Pokemon, and there's like, baby Pokemon, and then there's like, you know, um, adolescent Pokemon, and then there's like evolved Pokemon, and I don't know the terms, but there's, and it's that process. You must, they're in one stage of development, let's say, and they're able to learn their gifts, their talents, their purpose, like fully really come into themselves, mature, you could say. And then they're able to evolve into this next level, stage. Right? But and then you have to hold that, until you're able to evolve once again. And it's that process. It is not externally given to you. It is something that is birthed from within. It's something that is you transform. It's a transformational process to live within your purpose. You go through your stuff, and through that process you discover your purpose. What purpose do I serve here at this time? How can I see what is happening and take everything that I've ever learned, like truly learned, and put it into practice, right? But even to get to that point, you have to desire to learn that next thing, or to do that thing, or to change. When I left back in 2014, when I left Washington, D.C., and I moved out here on the West Coast, and my marriage was no longer, and it was just me and my 2-year-old son. My intentions at that time were, Jen, we're not going to make the same mistakes again. And yet I still found myself, as much as I knew that, I still found myself like making the same mistakes over and over again. And I just couldn't understand, why. And eventually I did the work and I figured it out. But what the process was, it was coming into understanding of how I had arrived to that point. Like, well, what happened earlier, right? Well, why did I make those choices? Why was I continuing to, right? You evolve. You become aware of what is happening, and then you make that choice to change because you have the tools and the everything you need to do so. Empowerment, right? I empowered myself, and I said, you know what? Let's figure this out, what's happening, and let's make a change. Let's make a change for myself. Let's make a change for my son, for future generations. And I had to go through all my stuff and face it. And face all of everything, like where I was not in alignment, where I was not living the life that I'm meant to live, where I was in denial, where I was not in acceptance, where I was, creating a story around something that, was keeping me limited. I mean, we could just go on and on and on. But there was a lot of stuff there I had to work through in order to get to my true, authentic self. It's not about fixing yourself, not about quick fixes, right? This is about truly digging in and doing the shadow work. And you're going to have things that happen to you within that in order to get you to where you need to be. If you are open to that experience, right, and you stay within alignment of that choice to, because that's why I chose to leave my old life behind, was to create a new life for myself, not to keep repeating the same mistakes, right? Or keep creating the same problems for myself, right? And then have to get my way out of them, because that's really what it was. It was just me not allowing myself to return back to a point of, a healed space. But in order to get to that space of like healed, you have to go through it. You have to go through the shadow. You have to experience it, right? You have to wake up to things and live your purpose. And that's what we are, I feel, as individuals, as collective, are being called into at this time. And because we are being called into this at this time, and we are being called in to do the work, there is also a lot of stuff going on outside, right, that is limiting you in your perspective. Let's say. So how do you see things from a higher perspective? How do you reorder things from a new space? How do you create something new for yourself? And this is about going through that process. That's it. Just going through that transformational process of learning what is true and what isn't true. For you, fully, wholly, and completely. That is the process that I teach, or you could say support. It's how I learned. Like, what is really true? And I realize that I have such an array of experience and knowledge in order to come into understanding of what is true. What is true for me, and what is true from the perspective that I am able to hold, really. I mean, that's all I can say. We all have our own ability to access this space, and our level of experience will, perhaps dictate, what we have access to, but we all have the ability to access this and to expand out. From this space. And it is getting to the truth, the heart of the matter, right? Getting to the heart of the matter. And this is the embodiment process that I'm here to guide people into, right? How do you recognize? So there's vibration, right? Everything is energy. Everything is energy. And I want you to imagine this for a moment if you can't comprehend it, because that's okay. But just imagine that everything is energy, because it is. Just imagine that. Just hold that imagining. And if everything is energy, and we can imagine everything as energy, what makes up something? So things that I would look at would be like tones, right? How do I feel, right? How do I feel within my body? And I would, okay, so let's say we want to understand something it is that we are experiencing, right, within the body, let's say. And so feel into and perhaps it's coming from an outside source. Let's look into those tones. How is that tone? How do I feel within the body in that tone? Right? How am I feeling constricted? Right, and it's noting these things, and it's working through those feelings that you have regarding that. Right, and then you come into your own knowing of things. Okay, so that's how I feel regarding this, but it's knowing on this deeper level. Oh, because that knowing brings about this ability to see things as they are, not how we want them to be, right? Not trying to fit things into this perhaps conceptual understanding of something, let's just say. But in order to truly see things as they are, because when we start seeing everything as like, okay, energy, well, and there's this, oh, I don't like this tone. Well, why am I feeling this way in the body? Or perhaps it's whatever it may be, because it's going to depend on how you're experiencing something, right? And sometimes this going through this process of feeling into something, that you may not want to feel into is necessary in order to understand it. Because if you don't feel into it, then you will never come into the knowing of that. And you will never see that which you are trying to understand, right? You'll never have that experience until you actually feel into that space. If you can't feel into that space, then you can't access that, you could say, level of intelligence or level of understanding. Because it's both, right? It's an intelligence. It's like an intelligence, right? It's just like an emotional intelligence, let's say, or I wouldn't call this emotional intelligence. This is kind of just my own. I call it sacred feminine intelligence, right? Or it's a feminine intelligence. But I'm not saying that this is not. It's the ability to receive, really. Because it doesn't matter if you're in a man's body or a woman's body, but this feminine, right? We're both feminine and masculine. And we're able to access these parts of ourselves fully, wholly, like analysis, right? Feeling into, emotional. Like when we can access our full intelligence, our full body range, our ability to hold everything within ourselves, all this knowledge, because it's all within the body. We have this ability to know things. And it's activating that process, right? Because we have blocks, because we've shut ourselves off from receiving, let's say. That's the sacred feminine, when we receive an incoming something. We've been blocked from that, perhaps that part of ourselves, because we didn't want to feel into that because it felt uncomfortable, perhaps, or whatever it may be. So you have this ability, right? And if you can access this ability, and you can, and that's the beauty of it, and you can understand these things on a very deep level, right? And then you have access to that, and it's embodied. Because when you are in that space, it's like there is no doubt. Like you are fully, wholly, and completely like in your truth. But that's not in this is from the space of the evolving self. So a perspective I like to give people in order to understand this would be, when I used to work on a watch floor, like in a fusion center, right? And I had, we would have initial reports that came in about a thing. Right, something's happening somewhere. So we all, and there's a lot of different people from different agencies and different things like that, and we're all sharing information as it's arriving, as it's coming in, as it's happening, firsthand. Right, and so you have to understand that whatever, because you grow to this understanding, whatever first comes in, okay, that's just initial reporting. That's it. it doesn't mean shit half the time. It's just the initial reporting. It hasn't been the incident, the event, whatever it may be, hasn't even fully unfolded yet, right? You're just getting that first piece of information, but you have to understand, and I would understand because I've been on the other side of reporting that information, that there's also all this other stuff going on the other side. And until you know exactly, also what's going on that side and how that feeds into the next thing and to the next thing, right? And so for me, I am able to hold that perspective of, okay, things are still unfolding, and we have an idea perhaps of something that's happening currently, but there's always more to the story. Right? And it's about digging in to make sense of things. Like, does this make sense? Does this fit? Is this factual? Are there missing pieces? But things are constantly evolving, right? And based on your own knowing, you can kind of evolve into a sense of like, okay, now I can kind of grasp what is happening, let's say, out there. But you still have to be open to receive, right? You can't shut yourself off from any part of the whole, because then you are limiting, right? You are limiting the moment you do that, you are limiting your ability, really, to move deeper into really your own capacity as an individual to hold knowledge. So this and then this thing, it's like everybody, they just take information from some external source. They don't even go back to look at this stuff. Right. Well, let's get a handle on it. No. Let's take a moment now to look at everything that's happening all at the same time. All of the moving parts. It's like a chess game, right? And I don't, and just saying that, it makes it like this isn't a game. This isn't about this is about truly creating something new, right? Your own understanding of things, and then creating something new from that space. Just clearing that energy over there, whatever I was feeling into. So opening yourself up to really feel into things. And also feeling into your own body and your own process, and opening up to higher levels of awareness and understanding, and moving deeper and deeper into, get it. Right? Get it now. Because if you're holding on to any kind of like biases or different things like that, or if you're not just seeing things clearly as they are, you're not going to be able to see a full picture, because you're holding on to your reality or your idea of your own perspective, but you're not opening yourself up to another's in order to form a greater whole or a greater picture of what's actually happening. So when you're able to like kind of orientate yourself into this space of like, okay, like getting out of whatever old mental construct you may have been operating within, in this free, clear space of just, this desire for truth, perhaps, and desire to understand on a deeper level, perhaps why things are the way they are, perhaps, so it's like shifting that space, right, into a new, okay, so what do we really want to do here? What is truly my intention? Am I just looking to validate my current reality or my current perspective? Or am I truly opening myself up to, okay, there's more to the picture here, right? Let's move into this space. Let's look at this from another level. There's, that. Let's open ourselves up to, okay, maybe I can see this from another perspective. And this other perspective is something that you hold internally to you, right? Some space that you're meant to navigate to, and you are in process of that, right? You are journeying into your own truth, right? You are in a journey into discovering something for yourself, really. Because everything out there is biased, it's skewed, it's all coming, what about you becoming your own internal source of things and knowing things for yourself? And that's what I support others in reaching into. That's what I hold space for, really, for people to come to their own realizations of things. So I think that's it. I think I'm going to stop there. It's 30 minutes. Trying to not make these videos too long. So until next time, toodaloo.